I'm here with Joe. I saw your live stream, Joe. First off, I got to correct your misinformation. I did release the clip out that you made for me.
I did find it. Yes, you did.
And you were upset with me, and I eventually did. I just had I did it. I saved it for a slow day. Fridays, my
that was
slow
a good
day.
one too. That was a
Yes.
good clip out.
Yes. So thank you for the clip out. So I'm already correcting misinformation. And in your stream, I made it 12 minutes before I even watch you, and I'm like, oh, I so disagree with my pal Joe. I so disagree with you. The 90-day box office window that you want is so old school and out of time and out of touch of current day stuff. I completely disagree.
Only because they made it so.
No. I completely disagree. So what Joe wants is every movie to have a 90-day window before you can rent VOD.
Yep.
You are going to cost these directors money.
Why?
With this. One thing, right off the bat, piracy. If you don't, if you don't think it's going to
get piracy happens when you release the things.
It happens regardless. It happens.
Oh,
anyway,
are you talking about camera in the theater? Nobody wants that.
No, they get them somehow. The
second you release it PVOD, there is an HD copy available for piracy.
Yeah, even without the VOD, there's ways to get. They have something with some theaters. I don't know. It's across the world. It gets out online somehow. So, people that are willing and ready to pay, if you wait 90 days. They're going to just pirate it.
I disagree.
And okay, well, that was my first point. My second point is,
I think your way makes it easier for piracy.
Well, let us know in the comments section. The second thing is, when you wait 90, you can't do one size fits all for every movie. Some movies that make sense. Very few movies in the current system we are at with the age of social media, 24-hour news cycle, entertainment goes like this. Very few movies are going to stay relevant after 90 days. I would say a very few movies should go 90 days. Very few movies should go 90 days.
There's a flaw to your logic.
Why?
Because you're saying very few movies are going to stay relevant for 90 days, but you're saying there's no one size fits all. What are the movies that they're putting on PVOD the quickest? The films that did not perform at the box office. So arguably, they're not relevant to begin with. They didn't have relevancy in the theater. So you're saying they're going to lose their relevancy?
No. If some movies that people might want to see but not want to go out, like for instance, there's bad weather all over the place right now. For some movies, you're like, oh, I want to see that. But after 90 days, do you still want to see it? That's going to with all the competing entertainment for people's eyes right now. The younger generations, lots of entertainment, video games,
but what are they
streaming shows?
But if you bring back the 90-day window, what is the competition? The competition is other movies from 90 days ago.
I think if you wait 90 days, it's going to be stale. That's like the old Blockbuster thing where you had to wait forever to get from movies to get to rental.
And it worked. It worked
but now there's streaming TV series to talk about.
But do you know when it stopped working? The 90-day window worked. The 90-day window worked until 2020 when they took it away. It was working until the second they took it away.
I don't think the younger generations attention span is going to be past 90 days, and it's going to lose its relevancy unless it's an amazing movie. I think most movies you'll like forget about it. People are like, oh, well, for instance, Wicked. I also agree with them bringing that to VOD because people, for one, me and my wife were going to go see it. We couldn't get a ticket, and people, that's an event movie that people, even if it's available on VOD, it's still likely going to get a good audience in the theater because it's an event to go see.
In the 2 weeks prior to Wicked coming to PVOD, it saw its box office go up, not down. Most every week after week, the box office drops. Mm-hmm. Wicked was doing the opposite. It was on an upward trajectory. They put it on PVOD, and what happened the very week they put it on PVOD? It fell by like double digits.
And then
More
they
so-
made lots of money on
more
VOD.
They didn't make that much. They made under $1 million on PVOD sales that week.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I do. What are you looking at? Just one region or worldwide?
Worldwide.
I don't know.
But on the other side of the coin, there were 2 other movies in theaters that did not go to PVOD that week, and they held strong at the box office. And that was Mustafa and what do you call it? Moana 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they were still performing.
And
my PVOD.
My third point on where I disagree with you on this topic. I would love if everyone just rushed back to the theater.
But wait, let me ask you this: you're saying it's going to lose relevancy?
Yes,
Wicked,
most titles,
Wicked,
not all.
A film that is Oscar caliber, that they're talking awards.
Yeah,
and there's a sequel because it ends in a cliffhanger. There's a sequel coming next year. You don't think that's going to be relevant in 90 days?
No, I said most. Wicked is one that they could have done that for, but I don't disagree with. I think there's money to be made in VOD. And
of course, but the same money is still there in 90 days.
My third biggest issue with you is when you talk about this, I feel like you sound like an out of touch executive. The times have changed.
The out of touch executives are the ones making this mistake and putting them on PVOD too soon.
No,
my idea nets them more money.
But Joe,
I'm helping these executives make millions of dollars. All they do is listen to me, and they will be Scrooge McDuckin in their money bin.
I don't think so. I think you would cause some of these projects to lose money. So when you limit options, the way you present it to the audience is like, and when people are asking questions, like what Perp was asking you questions, he's like, well, they're going to have to wait 90 days. I never think limiting options to consumer is a good idea.
But you're not limiting
more
options. They have the same options.
No, you're saying you're going to have to wait 90 days if you don't want to go to the theater.
Your options are go to the theater, or watch it on PVOD. Those are the options, no matter when we release the PVOD.
No, but you said 90 days before it even gets the VOD, right?
Yeah.
So the way you present the audience, you sounded like. And you're a family guy. You sound like you're scolding your children. Well, if you want to see it, you got to get your butt to the theater and pay for it, buddy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, times have changed.
Or you wait and we've always had choices. It just doesn't take choices away from anyone.
You sound like
when I was in high school, I had a choice: go out to the theater or rent it when it comes on video. When's that? 90 days later.
You sound like a record executive ranting against MP3s and the digital model for music.
Yeah.
Like if you want.
That's a great example. Do you know what killed the music industry?
Not advancing with the times fast enough. You're like, if you want to listen to the music, you got to buy the album at Best Buy and Walmart.
Yes, the music industry got nuked by the digital, and they were forced to evolve. But here's the thing:
the record industry is not what it once was, and that's
I know. And here's the thing: the movie theater is on that precipice, and they're the new record industry. Yes, to save themselves. They have time to fix the situation before they turn into the music industry.
There's no fixing it. You got to evolve with the times, adapt new methods, adapt the VOD strategy. Not every size fits all.
It's a great thing you're not a businessman, because you're basically saying I should evolve with the times and make a lot less money.
No, evolve with the times, adapt the different strategy for each project. Some movies, yes, 90-day. If it's extreme,
the strategies that are failing.
That you don't. How do you have all the insider numbers that they're failing? VOD
is
failing.
We can see the numbers.
I don't know. I'll have to do more research on that.
We can see the numbers. We saw the drop in.
I feel like the movie industry is the new record day. Like, look, print is still do magazines still exist? Yeah, the good ones, the exceptional stuff. Does do records do albums still exist? Yeah, people still buy Taylor Swift. Do they buy everybody's album? No. Your
plan for these companies to evolve reminds me of Dr. Evil. Why make billions when we could make millions?
No, you can make lots of billions if you adapt current methods, release methods, and it's not one size fits all on every project. It depends on what it is. So people still buy Taylor Swift records, but the record industry is not what it once was, and the movie industry is not going to be like it was before, Joe. It's just not.
Look at Disney. Look at Disney. Disney embraced the getting things on PVOD really, really quick. And do you know what they found? That wasn't working. They totally backtracked. What is the most successful studio this year? What studio bombed it out last year and did a complete turnaround?
I have a response for you, Joe. It wasn't VOD that didn't work. It was day and date. There's a difference. So VOD, they found day and date. It was not enough of a draw.
Yes, but wait. Day ended like 2-3 years ago.
Okay, well, let me finish though. So day and date was an experiment during the pandemic to see if it gave a huge boost to their streaming numbers. It did not provide a big enough boost to these streamers to justify releasing your brand new movie day and date. But going to VOD, you get the rental money, and I think they are making worldwide for all demographics. I think they're making some money on VOD and a good VOD strategy because also you do know theatrical. Once you get past the 25 days, you take less of a cut from the theaters.
Yeah, but here's what you're not understanding. When you take something, when you have a policy of if this movie doesn't do as well in theaters, we're going to put it on PVOD, you take away the urgency to see the film in theaters. And that hurts the film early on. I always say, go back to what's it called? Furiosa. Yeah. When that comes out, everybody's like, this movie didn't do well. Why didn't this do well? But what had happened the week before? The Fall Guy hit PVOD. Now imagine you're the average Joe who doesn't follow these things very closely. You don't know that some films come quicker than others. You just know I put on Amazon and there's The Fall Guy, which just opened less than 30 days ago. And you go, this is on Amazon already? And then you see a commercial, come out and see Furiosa. And you go, I don't got to see that. It's going to be on PVOD next week. So every time you rush one to PVOD, you're actually hurting future releases. And I'll tell you where that really hurts the box office. We hear people say, what happened to the mid-budget movie? All these things are big blockbusters. And it's like, that's because that's all the market will sustain now.
If you kept some of these 90-day window big movies in, it's going to hurt the other movies too. And for example, Furiosa, these companies, Hollywood, have so many numbers and algorithms. They know after the first weekend and especially after the second weekend if they should have a different VOD strategy based on the numbers. If there's a big drop, if the cinema score, it's not worth keeping it there.
You're not hearing me. It's not about that. It's about sending a message. If you look at this movie and say, yeah, if you have a movie,
limiting options.
It's not limiting options. You still have the option to watch it on PVOD. You just got to wait 90 days.
There's some people that aren't going to come back to the theater, Joe. People have changed.
They will if they want to see the movie. And if they don't, they will wait 90 days.
If your world existed, I would agree with you. I don't think your world exists anymore.
Then how come Disney's backed away from it? Disney is not rushing these things to PVOD anymore.
They're not. They were a year ago. Though.
What's that?
Are they waiting a full 90 days?
Yeah, they've been waiting like 90. Like, look how long it took Inside Out 2. Look how long it took Indiana. Okay. Indiana Jones opened in June. That movie did not do well. And Disney learned their lesson because they've been watching all their movies all year, and they didn't put that out until like September on PVOD.
I think, to answer you, Joe, I think the movies that they've kept in 90 days have been consistently weekend after weekend, not dropping. They've kept them there because they keep making money. Where some of these movies that go to VOD, you have like a second weekend drop. They're not like
they've done it with all their movies, though. They've done it,
but they've had a good streak this year. They've put a good streak of quality. I know it's subjective quality movies that. But
where did it start? It started last year. It started last year with the movies that were failing.
I think it was I think people wanted to see these movies. What were the ones that succeed from Disney last year?
But
Oh,
it's the accordion effect. You got to remember, it's the accordion effect. If you make a change in strategy, you're not going to see the results right away because the audience has to catch up and realize you had a change in strategy. So last year, you got Indiana Jones, and you've got
yeah, but its second weekend was soft. I remember
yeah,
there was a big drop.
yeah, I know, because everybody thought it's going to be on streaming in a month, but it wasn't.
You don't know that for sure. That's a good theory.
It's the same thing with the Marvels. When the Marvels came out, it bombed at the box office, and I said right then, I said this is going to do great on Disney Plus. And what happened? It did great on Disney Plus. It's not that there wasn't interest in the movie; people wanted to see the movie. They just thought, I don't need to get out to the theater; it's going to be on
I
streaming.
don't think that's why Marvels failed. I love the Marvels. I love the cat scene too, but Captain Marvel. I know there's the argument that that movie was in between the Avengers and Infinity War and Endgame, which I don't even subscribe to that one. But at the end of there was a big Easter egg for Captain Marvel at the end of one of those movies where actually before he gets snapped, he takes the pager from Captain Marvel. That really helped that box office. And I love the character. I think it did decent. I love that movie. I hope they make a third one. I don't think they will though. But that character hasn't caught on with the mainstream, whether I like it or not. I'm now a fan of Captain Marvel. I like Brie Larson, but I don't think the VOD strategy is what impacted the Marvels.
Oh, I think it
Honestly,
is. I definitely think it is because
I don't think it was good enough a
because
movie.
Ant-Man didn't perform well either, and neither did what was the other Marvel movie last year? I'm forgetting.
This is where we're
there was
getting subjective
but there
though.
was a third Marvel movie last year. What was it? It was Ant-Man, it was the Marvels, and there was a third
Thor:
one.
Love and Thunder.
No, Thor: Love and Thunder actually did fairly well.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
me either.
I
But I
can't
do.
remember.
I have an answer for Ant. I hated Ant-Man.
Yeah, and Ant-Man, I can understand because I loved that movie, but even when I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, this is a weird movie. This movie
Yeah,
is not going to be for everybody. This is a
yeah,
bonkers, strange, out
yeah.
there
And then
sci-fi movie.
what was the other Marvel movie?
And
Well,
even
Deadpool.
even Elemental and the Little Mermaid, they eventually did really well, and that's another perfect example of why not rushing these things to streaming helps because the Elemental and the Little Mermaid both did really
Well,
well,
I
but they were both declared failures on their opening weekend because they steamrolled. They kept going and going.
well,
And
I would say these are big. These are blockbuster movies. These are the upper echelon of IP movies, is what Disney's releasing. So
but then look at
this
this
is
year.
not a strategy that should be for every movie, though.
Compare last year to this year. You've got, and you could say, well, there was just more interest in Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, maybe, but guess what? Neither of the other two Deadpool movies did that well.
You didn't have Wolverine in it.
I don't know. But even the X-Men movies, none of the X-Men movies are billion-dollar movies.
But people wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine together.
I think you saw a real change in strategy when Chapek came in, and we saw the accordion effect because this year, like let's take Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2, good movie. A lot of people liked it. Not one of Pixar's better films though, and it's now the highest grossing animated film of all time.
No, Inside Out was really highly regarded, and I have to check the box office numbers, but I thought the first one did very good too.
Didn't make $1 billion, and
No.
Yeah, and the second one isn't nearly as good as the first one, and it's $1 billion film.
Yeah, but I think people really look back on when people say, "Would Pixar please stop making sequels?" until they made the sequel to this. That was Inside Out was one of the ones where like this is one of their best new IP is Inside Out.
Even Moana 2 is a perfect example because Moana 2 is something that was made for television. This is something Disney intended to give away for free. Bob Iger came in, took a look at it, and said, wait a minute. You're giving away like one of our most popular things? No, this goes in theaters. That's $1 billion.
These are big IP though. Yeah, these should be considered.
Yeah, but Indiana Jones is a big IP too.
And Indiana Jones, the writing was on the wall by the second weekend. To do a different VOD. It did not have a strong start.
And it didn't go to PVOD. They learned.
Maybe they should have gone to VOD sooner.
Because guess what? It went in September, and do you know what happened in September? Movie opened in June. In September, it went to PVOD, and you know what happened? Did really well. Did really well. Waiting did not hurt it at all.
All right. Well, these are crazy mad debates with me and Joe. If you want to see more, we're going to have to wrap it up because I got to get to bed. But I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun, Joe. I think this could be a thing, but you have to let us know what you want me and Joe to debate next. This is all into good fun, and let us know if you're Team Max or should we say Team Max or Team Joe or Team Krazy or Team Mad?
I don't know. I think our next debate
I think Team Mad or Team Krazy.
I think our next debate has to be the movie Seven. Was it any good, or were the previous 6 much better?
All right, you had to end with the dad joke. I have to rewatch that movie, and then the next debate, I'm not even talking about here. If you stay to the end of this video, let us know. But I'm just saying the next one is, should they have released the Snyder Cut? And don't even give a hint, because I'm going to I need to get to bed, because this is going to keep me up all night, this next debate. I can't do this on a Sunday night, this one. I can't do this, and I can't even know where that's going to be the next one. Look at those evil eyebrows. Like, no, okay. So if you want to see that crazy mad debate, let us know, because I have strong thoughts, and I know Joe does. And we'll see you next time.